And after buffing, this is what we're looking like. So not too bad. You know, any discrepancy we're going to see is going to be in the door jamb, but it just looks like a shadow line. There's actually a little bit of a break in the metal there, or you know, from the forming. And then on this side, I did the line right under the tag, so that helps blend that in. So, crisis averted. Well, I suppose this thing can probably go back to its owner. We may want to do some more touch up and buffing when, at some point, maybe when it's all back together. So, anyway, I guess it's time to start on the bed. Okay, we have a bed on a bed, or a bed on a gurney, I guess. Anyway, this is our patient, our last and final piece of the puzzle for the 71, and we just need to get it done. We've got the bird poop special going on here. It looks like the cat was after it. And anyway, more of the same, more of what you've seen. Someone has been involved already beforehand, done some work. It's up to us to finish it. Just a typical used pickup bed. We're not going to get carried away. Some initial problems that I've seen. We've got an odd over here. The bed is set in, or the tailgate is in. Over here, it is very well out. There is no bumper here, which is part of our problem, perhaps. But this thing could easily be a little twisted as well. And there could be a problem with the bed sides. Who knows? He wants the area around the tail light on the right side worked a little. It just doesn't quite look right. On the left side, he thinks it's good, and we may throw a light in there, but he modified this for his filler neck. So this thing flips down. Otherwise, very typical. We will strip it down to a certain point, put epoxy primer on it, and away we go. You can see things have been bumped from the inside. He's not at all concerned about that. So we probably won't even mess with that. This is going right back into service, you know, probably on a limited basis, but he's got plans to hook the fifth wheel trailer up to it immediately and use the thing. He's gonna do some sort of bed liner in here, and on the tailgate as well on the inside, so he doesn't care about any of this. So we can leave that alone. We've got some, where the bed's been pulled in the past, it's smushed out, you know. Just got some dings and dangs and dents all around. He didn't really know. I think he wants the top and then the brake going down to be painted. So I will have to make sure that this is all pretty straight and get that finished, and then this inch lip down there. So other than that, everything inside is going to be lined and used, so we don't have to get too concerned with that. So anyway, I'm going to get the hose out and the DA sander, and I'm going to start the fun. Here we go. So one thing I neglected to do was, I was kind of thinking I would find a mobile blasting guy, you know, like a dustless water-based blaster, and have him come and do this. When it was all said and done, I just dove in and started doing it. And there's kind of a catch anymore to it. A lot of those guys, at least in this area, cater to the oil field arena, and doing this kind of work is just more or less a sideline. And for some reason, you know, the last 4 years or so, the oil field hasn't been hopping. Anyway, I don't know who to talk to about that. No, I know exactly who to talk to, but we're just gonna move on. So I'm just jumping in here doing it myself, and I've got a lot of little, just like the rest of this project, we got a lot of little nicks or chips in the paint, and there can potentially be rust down in the bottom of them. So I'm just going along, trying to catch anything that might be a problem in the future, digging it out with die grinder, and then I'll treat them. So hopefully we can eliminate future problems, at least down those lines. It's looking like one of them crazy Germanian camouflages from World War II. I think it'd be effective. Alright, brought the little blaster in, did some media blasting. As always, I use fine coal slag that I buy at Tractor Supply. Works great, doesn't clog any nozzles or anything. Just wanted to get my jams here, kind of around the tail lights. So we took care of that. We got a lot of work to do there. I did up front here. And here, we're not going to, like I've already said, we're not going to worry too much about this front panel. We are going to paint it. We're going to clean it up, but it's not that important. There are dings from, you know, throwing the engine block in the bed and then just slamming on the brakes so that thing tries to come through the back window. We got those things going on, but he wasn't worried about it. He didn't want me to get that involved in it. Doesn't matter, so okay, we will move on. You can see I have dug out all of my rust issues that I thought might creep up, and I've hit them with a rust converter. And we got some divots that are still obvious, so I think before I do anything else, I'm going to come back and hit those obvious spots with some filler, just get a head start on it. I blasted around my side marker openings, and then I've done a bunch on the inside lip. This is as far down as we're going to go with paint, and especially that front panel fold down up there. I'm going to go to the seam weld, the pinch weld, the whatever you want to call it, the spot weld flange there. That's where I'll tape off and paint all that up front, and then he can decide. He's going to do like a Raptor liner or something in here. He can decide how high up he wants to go. up front there. That'll be fine. Did the tailgate. I only had like 3/4 of a bag, and so I got everything I really wanted to do, especially the lettering and down in the sunken area in the panel. And that's as far as I got. Came up with a little rusty spot there, so we'll have to cut that out and patch it, which is why I do it. Got the jams inside of the jams pretty good there, and then the rest of this will be easy to hit with a DA sander or the stripper wheel, and we will go from there. That just really speeds this process up and makes it so much easier. So, like I say, next thing, a little bit of filler, and then we're gonna hit that with a DA, just a quick fix, get it close, you know, we're not trying to make it perfect yet, and then we will get it with, start getting primer. Here's what my patch panel's looking like on the tailgate. I cut out about a 1-inch section where the rot was. It was through both overlapping pieces, of course. So about a 1-inch section to take care of the inner piece, and then cut her 3 times as long, just so you can weld double layers. You know, so weld, weld, new piece, weld, weld. So now I need to hammer this down. And I may run another slice in there. I think I pretty much have to. It's already closed the gap there. And then I will weld that up. Obviously I've got my spot weld in to match what's going on from the factory. And this will be taken care of. We'll move on to the tail light right there. So we got that taken care of, just a touch of mud, just a tickle, and it'll be just great. No problems there. I'm going to turn my attention to our other issue here, and that is this tail light opening has really been boogered up. In fact, I think this whole back of this bedside got clobbered at one point in its life, and it's been fixed to where it's reasonable. Once again, I really have no clue just how much filler is here. It doesn't feel terrible, so we're going to leave it. The guy's happy with it. We're not going to do work he doesn't want us to do. But we got a crack here that we have to dig out and take care of. So we'll see what's going on in there. And then down here, it's really messed up. I made this pattern on the opposite side, so that matches. See if I can line it up. Anyway, it's too big. The point of view. Anyway, that matches down there perfectly. And when we line it up at the same place here, let me switch hands. When I line it up exactly how it goes on the other side, you can see we got a bit of an issue. We got at least a 1/2 inch at this bend right here. We have at least a 1/2 inch problem. So I've got to pull all of that out. And I think if I concentrate on this area and get it down at an angle, hopefully the rest of this will follow. Now you can see it's been welded up here, and I don't know how that's going to react to my moving the other part. We'll just have to play with it. That's been welded in there. There's quite a bit of weld on the backside. Not so much here. But she's just been kind of cobbled up, the poor old thing. Alright, well, I dug out the majority of the filler with my grinder, and there was a lot of it up in here. It was pretty thick, and I don't know if it would have lasted. Cases like that, I think it's just best to repair instead of, you know, going back. Maybe the old school lead would hold up, but a little nervous about plastic filler. Up in here, there's some damage up there too. It's not as thick as down below. I may just work with that. Maybe some hammer and dolly work would do a lot of good. But down here, we got a nice crisp line. This is all pretty superficial as far as body filler goes. You can tell it needs some, but anyway, we got a nice crisp line till about, up in here it starts losing its confidence, and then it just completely goes away there. So I think what would be best to make this line look right around the lens, just come in and remove all of this. So probably just come in right above the crack here and cut all of this out down about 4 inches. Make a new piece and weld it in, and that'll just make sure we got some good metal and not a lot of filler. So, and then down here, I don't know. I may even wait with that till I've pushed this out, just to see what that's going to change. But someone was rough on the old thing. I always knew a Chinese crescent was good for something. That ought to be just about the perfect profile for my first bend. Tip of the day, don't sell yourself short. In life, in general, in metalworking. We people just always have got to be doing that for some reason. Gave myself plenty of room, and looks like we're getting pretty close. I think once I chop it off here to the right width, then my angles will be just about perfect. So I'm going to do that, and we can get ready to weld that in. So here is what we're starting to look like here. Got a bit of cleaning up to do on my welds, but it's going to look a lot better, and then it'll look even better once I put some filler back in here, build that back up, sand it down. It ought to look really nice. Yeah, here's this little piece down here that was all messed up. I had to build my weld up here a little bit to grind it down so I can get a nice curve in there again to match the outline of the tail light. But that's all done as far as that goes, other than grinding it down, obviously. Now I'm going to turn my attention to this. I was going to bring in my porta power and just try to push and see what happened. But being there's a big fat old weld behind here, I think I'm just going to come in and slice this. This all has to be re-welded anyway. It's all cracked and kind of ugly. So I may slice right there, and then there's some weld on the backside down here. I may cut at least the flange, and maybe I can just, with pliers and hammers and so forth, maybe I can just get this back in line. So I'm going to start playing around with that. Another thing I really need to pay attention to, let's see if you can get a sight on this. All of this has been modified for the gas fill, of course. But down in here, so between this and that inner stake pocket, which we just have the bottom of down in here, I can fit this stir stick in there. It just squeezes past, and you can see the shape. We got a nice angle, and it's mostly straight across here. And I take it this thing was hit right in here at one point in its life, hence all the damage. But you can see we go way in and then angle back out, and then that same gap down there, I can't even begin to get this paint stick between them. You know, it may be a quarter or an eighth of an inch off, but obviously it's making a big problem up here. So I'm gonna have to try to whack that out, pry it out, whatever I can do, and hopefully bring this back out nice and straight. And I think I really need to start there. Well, after sitting here staring at it for about 10 minutes, I decided to do what I didn't want to do, and I cut it all apart. Seems like going 2 steps back, but really trying to get a porta power or pry bars or slide hammers or anything in there just wasn't appealing to me. I just didn't see it succeeding. So once I sliced along that bend in there and down here where there was a weld, then everything moved instantly, which you would expect. You can actually see we're almost a quarter of an inch offset down here. So that obviously has to go back out, but that easily got me square here with the world. And I can slide my paint stick down in there, which shouldn't be too surprising. So if I get that straight, and then I can easily move this part of it, we can weld that up. And now on the top end and the bottom end, I'm very close to where I need to be. And I just need to bring the middle out to fall in line, and then we should be good to go. Just a little bit of welding, and everything should be okay. I admit it's looking bad, but we're achieving our objectives. We hold our pattern up here, and we're getting very, very close. We're about to the place. I think I'll get it all welded up, and then in the center here I will do a little more prying and hammering, see if I can at least cut that in half, you know. But I'm almost getting to the point where I'm okay with filler. There, I re-sliced this. I wasn't happy once I got this all where I wanted it. I wasn't happy with how this was looking, it was crooked again. Well, it wasn't. It may have been crooked before, I don't know, but once I moved everything I wanted there, then this was crooked. So I re-sliced that, and now that is square. You know, it's square now. It's straight. It's where it's supposed to be. So I've got a lot of filling to do here, you know, with Weld, which we can do. Yeah, I may just have to make a slice there. I don't know, but we'll play around with it, keep going, and I will show you when I'm done. Okay, second application of primer on the bed, and hopefully the last. I think we should be able to get away with it. If you can see a little bit of a patchy effect here and there, right there, so forth and so on, it's because I really concentrated on the known trouble areas that I really had to do a lot more work with filler and so forth. I sprayed them first, sprayed the whole thing, and then I came back and sprayed those again each time, and I cleaned out the gun that way. You can see them more here. Just getting more product, building it up higher in those known trouble areas. So I will have more to sand away. Overall looking good. I think maybe you even picked it out on the other side. There are a few little dimples and so forth here and there that I could not see beforehand somehow, you know, and that's going to happen. It's just going to happen. No big deal. We will swipe it with the little pinky, whoop, with spot and glaze putty, sand it down with 400 with the rest of the bed, coat it with rattle can primer. You'll never know it was there. The only time it's too late to take care of something like that is when you're going to paint. You don't want to be using paint as your filler, you know, your top coat. Tailgate turned out pretty good. There's still some pitting that I did not catch, like in the R. You can see that there. And the O. Overall, very good. This had a big problem right there, and that turned out really well. You know, and when these were stamped out, they were never laser straight. And to fix everything going on, you would have to spend days going between letters and so forth. But it does look really well, really good. Got the hinges and that mechanism all primed. So yeah, maybe this afternoon, I'm going to let this cure probably the rest of the morning. Maybe this afternoon I will start with the 400. Got a little, it's looked like somebody's fingernail clipping shot out of the gun there. I don't know what that was all about. That or something fell down from the ceiling. But as I go around, we are looking pretty good, I think. Been watching Kelly's Heroes, you know. Good old oddball. Now really, Louie, couldn't your family have shortened its name just a little bit when you came to America? Wee wee, wee wee. Just been washing the bed inside and out. Mainly wanted to wash the inside out, get all the dust and everything. But I gotta say, if it ends up looking this good in paint, I think we've done our job. Looks a little wrinkly because of the water streaks, you know. But all right, guys, once again, it is D-Day 0 hour, right? The reason it is gray now is because I ran out of black primer. I wanted to give it another good coat or two or three and had to run to town and get some primer.
all they had was gray, which is fine. It'll work just fine. So it's a little splotchy where I've been rubbing it with the 400 and some black shows through. That's exactly what I want to happen. You know, we straightened it out even more. So that is good, and that's the reason it's gray. Yeah, I'm gonna mix up a little paint and we'll start spraying. Oh, I've got to get my hinges, my tailgate hinges hung up also. Don't want to forget those. Well, I'd be lying if I said I was 100% happy. I am very pleased. Everything is looking really good. No runs, no sags. When you look down the bed sides, everything is nice and straight. But once again, I've just got that annoying orange peel and dryness. And no matter what I do to my gun, my pressure, I have shot this same paint from 21, 22 psi down to 15 psi, no change. It still comes out looking this way. The only other two factors are the paint and my gun itself. I could put a seal kit in it. I could replace it. I've used it on quite a few paint jobs, and this is the only one that has given me so much trouble. I'm thinking it's the paint, but I don't know. Once again, this is Eastwood's Dust Copper Canyon Metallic single stage urethane. If any of you have had a similar problem, you know how to fix it, you know what's going on, please let me know. If you have been able to rectify the situation, I have not. I've shot this, if you've been with me through this project, you know I've shot this in kind of a wide range of temperatures. No change. Today I had it 75 degrees in here. Humidity was high outside because it rained last night, but I don't know, medium activator, everything should have been fine. And I've read and I've heard from other guys on this particular gun that you need to shoot lower pressure. So I had it all the way down to 15 and no change. Still the same outcome. Tailgate's looking even a little better than the bed. And to be honest, here's the give and take of the situation. I could make a choice. I could crank up the volume, the product on the gun, and I could be shooting product on here like crazy and probably get a smoother finish. But this is such high metallic in this thing that if I do that, then I'm starting to get dark brown streaks. And I went through a problem with that early on with this paint on the cab. Is if I'm trying to rectify the dryness, I'm shooting closer, I'm putting more on, then I get dark brown lines right in front of the spray tip. So I would much rather have dry paint that looks nice and uniform, because then I can come back, cut and buff it out, and it'll look great. If I have lines in it, there's going to be lines in it no matter what I do. You can't get them out. So what I did, you saw me, I did a drop coat, got it nice, got it on there. Then I came back, 2 more good coats. Then I came back and I did another 2 or 3 drop coats from far back, really moving fast, just to even everything out, because this stuff, I'm telling you, the metallic is in this paint. It is crazy how much metallic is in this. And when we get her all said and done, it's going to shine like a brand new 1971 penny. But man, even the amount, there's no dirt or very, very little dirt in this, which is great. This paint booth is just a godsend. And my lines look good. My reflection, everything is nice and straight. So I am really pleased overall, just a little disappointed how dry it is. Having said that, I have sanded and buffed all the other sheet metal on this pickup. And so even if I got a very nice paint job on here right out the get-go, I would probably still come back, sand and buff it out, just to make sure it matches the rest of the vehicle. So, I guess there's really only wins here and no losses. Well guys, there you have it. I have wet sanded the entire bed down, and I have used 2-step buffing process, and we got it looking pretty good. I still have the tailgate to do, but I will probably finish that on Monday. Otherwise, I am going to let the owner know, and I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. I would prefer he drive the cab and chassis down here and we use the auto lift to lift this up, back the pickup under it, set it back down, and away he goes. We have that to work out yet, but I think that'd be the safest way. Otherwise, you know, we have had some trials and tribulations getting to this point, if you've been with me the entire time, even as serious as not being able to close the driver's door, right? But we got it. Not 100% satisfied, and what person ever is with their own work, but it is, here we go, we're done. So that'll be nice. Anyway, if you have been with me through this entire process, guys, I really appreciate it. You don't know how much I appreciate you investing your time with me doing this stuff. So thank you very much. God bless you, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Time to shut this place down. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. What? For crying out loud, can a person ever have a moment to themselves?